Okay. Shoftim v'shoitrim. Titin lecha b'chal sharecha. The Parsha starts off with the importance of law and order, which is having judges and having so in modern Hebrew, shoter is a police officer. In Torah language, the shoter is like a person who enforces the law, but not really a police officer, more someone who gives the punishments. It's like the Beis Din would say, whatever, he ate non-kosher, let's give him 39 malchus lashes. Then the shoter would come along and punish him. I don't know what that's nowadays, but it's similar to police, but it's not police. So I see why they made it Hebrew, because modern Hebrew, because it was the closest thing, We're looking at Rashi. Rashi says a shofet is obviously a dayan who poskim has in. They decide the law, and a shoter is somebody who he says he has a stick, and he says you better accept what the judge says. That's why it's the opposite. First it puts the judge and then the shoter. In modern Hebrew, you'd say the shoter then the judge, because the shoter arrests you and takes you to the judge. Yeah. In Torah, it's the opposite. The shofet first judges you. Now, how do you get there? We'll talk about later. But first, the shofet judges you, and then the shoter is the one who makes sure that you listen to the judge. The judge says, "Pay him $50." He'll beat you up or whatever. He'll make sure that you give the $50. The shoter says, "You're not allowed to do this." He'll make sure you don't do this. The shofet. So the shoter is after the judge. He makes sure that you listen to the judge. So that's why it's that order: shofet, then a shoter, not a shoter, then a shofet. Right? It says he has you tie him down and you hit him until he accepts the din of the judge. You have to have judges, which Hashem, in all the areas that Hashem is going to give you, based on the tribes. Now, obviously, we know that they gave out the land of Israel according to tribes, but what does the tribes have to do with this? It comes to teach you that you can't. It's not good enough to just have like one Beis Din in Yerushalayim, a capital. You have to have in every area. You have to have a court, a Beis Din.
They had they had in the Shar Ha'ir, the gate of the city, they had the Beit Din, and then they had also the Sanhedrin Ktana.
Yeah.
It was 23, and I think then what it says here also that they're talking that every tribe, every shevet had their own shofet.
Their own highest.
So it's kind of like you see the hierarchy.
Yeah, they had to have a hierarchy. Yeah. So
and
big
then
city,
the
the big city would have a Sanhedrin Ktana, and every city, not a town, but every city had to have a. Like I said, the Shar Ha'ir was the busiest place because everyone went from town to town. They traveled to do business, so they would sit in a prominent place in the city.
Do you know where we see that? When Boaz went to Shar Ha'ir.
Yeah.
You remember when he was looking for the person from the family?
Yeah, plenty of money when he was trying to get what was it? Was he trying to do chalitza or something? Yeah. So he went to the Shar Ha'ir.
I remember now
but he was the judge, Yeah. Okay. V'shaftu esam mishpat tzedek. You have to have good judges who will be honest and truthful. It's funny nowadays, whenever I read the news and I see a judge did this, a judge did that, immediately I check, is this a Republican judge or a Democrat judge? It never used to be like that. But nowadays, already what they're going to say before they say it, because they're so partisan, they're so political. You know what they're going to say. But no, you can't have that. You can't have a Yemani, a Smolani, no such thing. You got to have Mishpat Tzedek, 100% truth every single time. Loisata Mishpat, Loisakir Fanim. Don't pervert justice. Don't be gentle with one, and tough on the other one. Don't make one stand up. The Medrash says, have one sit down. Even if you're going to rule against the one who's sitting down, but you have to be 100%. That the Medrash says that even if the judge is going to be honest, if the judge pretends to be nice to one of them, the other one's going to give up hope, and he's not going to really make a good case for himself. He's not going to work hard for his case because he thinks it's lost. Therefore, even through the judgment, the judge has to be 100% neutral, treating them both the same. Don't take a bribe. A bribe or blind the mind of even the most righteous person. You know, in Gibraltar, there was this very wealthy person. The family name was Macias, Sephardi family. And I remember one of the children once came to me and he said about this pasuk, I see it all the time. People come to my father and they bow, rabbis, whatever it is, prestigious people, and they bow down in front of him because they want his money or they want to, fundraise for this and that. And he says, in my mind, this is a new avodah zarah. This is a new idol worship, money. He says, people who you see in the street walking, normal people, they go do crazy things for money. I heard a similar thing as well about a person who's supposed to be, tragically, he's supposed to be proper observant, would never do anything on Shabbos, whatever it is, a so-called rabbi. He's not a big rabbi, but nobody likes him. He's a rabbi. And he was once with a wealthy woman. What's her name? Her husband had all the casinos in Vegas. She supports Israel a lot now. Anyway, he's in an elevator on Shabbos. He presses the button. He's like, yeah. Point is, he would never do that. But the money makes people do things they would never do. So as much as they'd like to say, I'm a righteous person, no bribes.
Rabbi, I heard one time a rabbi said, you know what shefa? Shefa is abandoned thing that you have. If you play with the letters, you get the word pesha.
Because it goes the other way.
Shefa and pesha. So the shefa could lead to the pesha.
That's
it's beautiful, true. Right?
That's beautiful. That's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about something happened in this time. Two brothers, and when they were teen, they murdered their parents, and now they are asking Hanina, and the court refused to them. We are talking about a very rich family, and it seems that they wanted the money before the Mea Esrim of their parents.
Right. Wow. Wow. Oh, that's why you need to be so careful. It used to be this crazy thing in South Carolina. All the lawyers, העורכי דין, היו קונים לשופטים מתנות לחגים שלהם. Hundreds of them. I know a judge, Judge Paul Garfinkel. He comes over here. He told me he used to get presents and presents from the lawyers. Now, it's not from the criminals, whatever, but still from the lawyers. Now they stopped it. But it's so crazy because whoever buys a bigger present comes to court. A shochet. You can't have an honest court case like this. So it's a very real issue.
Rabbi, I heard a long time ago a beautiful commentary also about Shoftim v'Shotrim titen lecha, which means each of us, okay, we should be our own shofet and our shotrim, and b'chol sharecha means all the places. It's a beautiful explanation that you connect also the mouth, okay, it's a shar, ear, the nose, the eye. Right. So take care of your sharim as well.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I had the same thing about a mezuzah. Why do we put a mezuzah on the entrance? Well, obviously because Hashem told us, but also because it's a shar. We leave our house, which is safe and holy, and we go out into the open. So we want to remind ourselves the words of Shema. If you listen to Hashem, will be good. If not, not.
Beautiful.
And that's a shah. So we're putting a police officer right by the door. For each for our own. So when we go out, we remember to guard ourselves. You see, the Torah has so many meanings, right? Obviously, the literal meaning is court, but there's many different meanings. Shivim panim l'Torah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tzedek tirdof. You have to chase justice, which many people think that is talking to the judges, but it's not. It's actually talking, according to Rashi at least, is talking to the people. When you go look for a court, find a court that is neutral. One of the common ways that we deal with issues between people, first of all, you should know, this is tragedy in places like Charleston, which is where the people get divorced, half of them go to non-Jewish court. Besides, I know people that spent $150,000 within a year and a half on lawyers and fees and court, and nobody won anything. They're both upset. They're both crying. They both lost. According to halakha, you're not allowed to go to a non-Jewish court. You're not allowed to. Our court. That's all we did. I saw. You're not allowed to go to non-Jewish court. You have to go to Jewish court. Now, Jewish court is not going to take you money. There's no lawyers and no this and that. There's a concept of a to'en, which is somebody who makes your case, who knows halakha, who talks to. There's none of this. None of this. It's crazy what happens. These people, I know somebody, they sold, they saved up, they bought a house for them, for the children, and they sold the house to be able to pay for the court, and they already burned through half the money. They're crazy. I'm telling you. He told me one time, this person, I came and sat down with him. He's like, hey, we had litigation last night. What happened? Nothing. How much it cost me? $5,000. That means they sat down with their lawyers, 5,000. Crazy. I'm telling you. But the point is, when it says tzedek tirda, it's not talking about the judges. It's talking about we have to look for a good court. We should not just randomly go. Of course, not go to non-Jewish court. But we have to find a good court. If we have an issue with someone, go to court. But a Yiddish court. And I'll just tell you one thing. One of the ways that Jewish courts work. Let's say you say me and you having a fight. That's for shalom, right? I say I want to go to the Beis Din in Savannah. You say I want to go to the Beis Din in Atlanta. What do? So there's a very amazing way of appointing a Beis Din. It's called a Zavla. Zavla is an acronym for Ze Borer Lo Echad. Ze Borer Lo Echad. Zavla. That means you choose one judge, I choose another judge, right? Let's say you say I want Rabbi Slatus from Savannah, and I say I want Rabbi whatever from Atlanta. And they, Vehem Borim Lo Echad, and they choose the third judge. That way it's 100% neutral. You chose one judge, I chose another judge. And them too chose the third judge. That way, we agree whatever they say is gonna be the decision. And I know cases when it works, and it works. It works because in America the problem is now that every court is a Republican court, a Democrat court, a right court. They're the same in Israel. And the problem is that you're not choosing the court. You're not choosing. So the Torah is telling us, tzedek tirda, find a good court. Don't assume that it's just going to be good. Yeah.
No, I have a question about I learned that always when the Torah repeats itself, there's a purpose, not just to emphasize. So the tzedek, it could be that one tzedek is like the strict one, and the other one is what we say in Hebrew, lifnim mishurat hadin, which means like, how do you say lifnim mishurat hadin?
Right, within the line of the law, like above and beyond.
Yeah, that you have to take in consideration as if somebody comes and he comes from, I don't know, from very difficult background, and so you have to consider also so maybe the first one is, yes, you need to go by the rule, but sometimes be softer.
Right.
Okay, look at the situation and the condition that person, if we blame, is in.
Interesting.
It could be, right?
Yeah, but careful, because if we don't want two. Let's say I steal and he steals.
Oh, of course.
I get bigger punishment. Maybe you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But for sure, there's something about that. It's for the shofet. Yeah. So again, Rashi says tzedek tirda is talking about us. We got to find a good court. Yeah. But it could also be talking about the judge. And I'll tell you another explanation from simple Bunim of Pshischa, the Hasidic master, the Rebbe. He said as following. He said tzedek tirda means sometimes people say, I'm chasing tzedek. I want righteousness. For example, I want peace in the world. And therefore, how am I going to do that? I'm going to make fun of Israel. Whatever it is, right? Tzedek means you got to chase after tzedek, but also do it through tzedek. There's a line in English where the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I mean, many times you see people that they do bad things, but they say, oh no, because I'm trying to get to a good thing. So it's not good enough to chase after tzedek, he says. You got to chase after it only through the righteous way.
Yeah.
Just give an example. A couple of days ago, terrible. A list of 100 rabbis, liberal, they claim to be modern Orthodox. In America. They signed a letter against Israel. Terrible, I'm telling you. They signed a letter against Israel. They said, we're very worried about what's going on in Gaza, and we're very worried about what's going on in the West Bank. And basically everything Hamas is saying, of course, the release of hostages, they have to write that. but they basically terrible things against Israel. And all my friends, everybody's very upset about this. Now, first of all, these rabbis, I think like only, even though there's like 100 rabbis signed it, only like 3 of them are actually rabbis of communities. Because they're all like fake made up rabbis. There's this organization called Chovevei, Open Orthodox, which is like very liberal, and they like to push halacha boundaries wherever they can and whatever it is. So many of them belong to that group, whatever it is. The point is, this is what you call tzedek tirdof, but not tzedek tirdof. Tzedek, the opposite of tzedek tirdof, where they think in their mind, oh, we care about these innocent lives in Gaza, and therefore they're going to come out and in a time when everybody's hating the Jews to fuel the fire of anti-Semitism and to write a letter. The reason why I made the news is because it was the first time anybody Orthodox had criticized the government. Reform, they already criticize the government all the time. Conservative, they're like on the fringe, they already wrote letters. It was the first time that people who called themselves Orthodox, they're not Orthodox, but they call themselves Orthodox, who normally are strong for Israel. We always support Israel. It was the first time that people called themselves Orthodox made fun of, talked about starvation and stuff, which is nonsense in Gaza. So that's why I made the news. Now, at least they wrote in the news, you can read it in Times of Israel, they wrote at the bottom, most of these are not rabbis in the synagogues, and they're very liberal rabbis, and So I'm happy about that, because in my mind, whoever signed on that, already they're not real, right?
Of course.
But you see, but when I saw that, I realized that they're doing it from a good place. Like they genuinely are troubled. Obviously, they're very liberal, but putting that aside, they don't like to see suffering in Gaza. But the way they're going about it is wrong. Send a private letter to the government and say, we're really bothered about this, whatever it is. And, but to publicly fuel all the nonsense that the anti-Semites are saying right now, that they're killing babies and Israel's genocide and starvation, to add fuel to that is just insane. That is tzedek, but not through tzedek, tirdof. That's tzedek through ra, through bad. And Rav Moshe says, it's not good enough to chase tzedek. It's very nice. I love Palestinians. I care about them, but I don't want them to die. Fine, but don't do something that's not tzedek because of that. It has to be tzedek too. So check it up. You'll see in the news. It's terrible. It didn't bother me because, on the contrary, when I saw all those rabbis signed on it, I knew what they were. I knew what they stood for. I don't even know who they are. I never heard of any of them, but I know some people who know them, and they're showing their true colors. They show who they are, and I hope that the people who know them, or maybe their congregations, see who they are.
It's very sad.
אין צדיקים בעזה, לצערי הרב.
נכון. No, when they brought,
הלוואי והיו שם.
when they brought the hostages into Gaza, everybody's cheering and celebrating. Yeah. I didn't see anybody go, no, be careful, be gentle.
עכשיו, בשביל לחודש באו קודם החיילים של החמאס, אבל הם באו ב6:30 בבוקר, אבל שאר הפלסטינאים התעוררו ב9 בבוקר, ואז גם הם באו לקיבוצים שם ועשו את כל הדברים שהחמאסים עשו. אז איך אפשר להבחין בין רע לטוב?
Yeah, they said like 2/3 of the people that went into Israel weren't even Hamas. They're just joining in the party.
Palestinians.
Yes, exactly, the innocent Palestinians.
רבי, אני חושב שבכותרת של הפרשה שכתוב שופטים ושוטרים, אז המצוות והחוקים הם כתובים בתורה, בתלמוד, שולחן ערוך. בכל אופן צריך שופטים ושוטרים בכל שעריך, כלומר בסביבה שלך, אנשים שמכירים את הסביבה שאתה גר, מכירים אותך ויכולים לשפוט לא רק לפי מה שכתוב, אלא לפי מה שמכירים אותך.
אז אתה הולך בצדק בעצם.
כן, אבל זה לא
רק הצדק הסטריקט.
כן, זה התחשבות בבן אדם שעשה את הפשע שעשה, כמובן לא בצורה כזו שזה מקבל על אותו דבר קנס של $100 ואתה רק בגלל שהייתה לך ילדות קשה אתה תשלם רק דולר, אבל איזושהי רחמנות על בן אדם שמזהים שהוא פשע אולי בגלל תנאי החיים שלו וכן הלאה. או לפחות לשים אותו בבית סוהר שמתאים לאנשים עם הבעיות המנטליות שיש לו.
Just interesting. Yesterday was the second anniversary. Remember when Trump got arrested and they took a photo?
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday was the second anniversary of that photo. Now, I think
with the mug, you mean?
with the mugshot, yeah. I think Trump is a bit of a meshugana. Like I'm not, I don't teach my children to be like him. But it's funny how what they try to do when they did tzedek, but not the right way, it ended up going exact opposite. Right? That thing probably made him president again. Like I thought 100% he's not going to become president. This guy, crazy, whatever, everything January 6th. No way. I would have put money on it. Most people would have put money. But then they made him famous again. They put his picture everywhere. He became seen as like fighting the stuff, and these people spent tens of years trying to take him down. They ended up doing the opposite. They ended up doing the opposite. Now again, whether you like him or hate him, this is a fact. So you see how tzedek, when you push the opposite of tzedek, sometimes it just goes, you end up doing the opposite what you got to do. The justice will come out in the end.
Yeah, it's called in Hebrew, pipiot. You probably heard about this.
Double-edged sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the sword that you want to hurt, it's going to hurt you at the end.
Yeah.
And that's exactly.
Yeah, now these people are being prosecuted, fired, they thought they won. They thought they had him locked up. This was a big day. Now he's got nothing. He got no problems whatsoever, no legal problems, and they have all the problems in the world. It's an unbelievable. I'm telling you. Obviously, it's the hand of Hashem for whatever reason. Again, that he should be in this time, but also you see how justice works. How sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes 100 years, but justice will come around. And tzedek is if you don't chase after justice, Hashem will chase after justice. Justice will come eventually.
Rabbi, do you know that the gematria of Donald Trump is Mashiach ben David? Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
Hopefully.
And by the way, the gematria of Hillary Clinton is Amalekia. The one.
How they come up with these? Yeah, that's good stuff.
And we have a rabbi that we know in New York. He's the one who called us. It was at the time when Donald Trump ran for the first time. I remember Motzei Shabbat. He called us from New York and he said, listen, the gematria of Donald Trump is Mashiach ben David. I was shocked. And then after I talked to him, I immediately took a paper. Exactly, Rabbi. It's unbelievable.
וזה לא סתם רבי, הוא ממשפחת שלוש.
האבא שלו הוא גדול, כמו האבא שלך, גדול בקבלה. כל הזמן בקבלה.
וואו.
ואז הוא אמר לנו את זה. It was unbelievable, Rabbi. יד ובשל.
סבא שלו יש רחוב בתל אביב שנקרא רחוב שלו, שהוא היה בין הראשונים בתל אביב. הוא עשה הרבה בשביל האתיופים. חידש דברים למענם והקל עליהם להיות יהודים, להשתלט שם. אז הנכד הוא בניו יורק במנהטן. הבת שלנו הייתה גרה שם ליד בית הכנסת שלו, אז ראינו.
הוא רב שם?
כן, הוא רב.
מאוד נחמד.
הוא בעצם נולד באטלנטה. האבא שלו, הכרנו אותו באטלנטה. הוא עסק שם, הוא בהתחלה היה מורה בהיברו אקדמי, ואחר כך הוא עבר יותר לעסקים, וגם למד קבלה בקורס. אשתו הייתה מורה מאוד מכובדת שם בהיברו אקדמי, כשאני הייתי שם, היא הייתה סגנית מנהל.
Very connected.
כן.
Yeah. We have connections with good people.
כן. ברוך השם.
אז אומר במשיח בן דוד.
כן, בעזרת השם. Okay. Okay, next pasuk is Chaf Aleph 21. So by the way, you see how justice is so important. When you don't have justice, everything breaks down. If you let criminals steal and let them out on, with no punishment, they're going to steal again. It's not rocket science.
Exactly.
And your whole society collapses. The businesses close, they move out, the economy goes down, everybody moves out to Florida. You know, I mean, it doesn't, you need justice. You need, as much as it's painful. Imagine you're a judge and you see this poor guy, he stole, of course, you can have some compassion, as you mentioned before. But if you just go, you can go out, guess what? You're not doing him a favor. You're saying, oh, I'm not going to let you off. Guess what? Now I'm going to make more money. So, yeah.
And I like to read by that, like the Pasuk Gimel, the Pasuk Kaf, I'm sorry, the third one of the Parsha, it says, וירשת את הארץ אשר השם אלוקיך נותן לך, if you do this and this, okay, it means it's not guaranteed, okay, it's not that God is giving us inheritance, it's mine, whatever I do, one can know. It's not a present. You need to be worthy of getting it. And that's why I think we got all those troubles as we were kicked out from the land and the 2 temples were destroyed because we didn't go by the way of God.
For sure.
And it means if you do this, then you will inherit the land.
Yeah. Mr. Free says that the importance of having good judges, strong judges, good judges, is literally we get the land of Israel because of it. And, many people say, like October 7th, it happened at a time when the Jewish nation was the most fractured. The justice system in Israel is going crazy. Everybody's going crazy. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's this, everybody's that. And our enemies rise up. So it happens over and over again. We learn nothing. We do it over and over again. We do the same thing. And now we're fighting more than we were October 6th. So that's the truth. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just unbelievable.
But at least good thing. God always says, this is the klala, but if you do the right thing, you always have a chance to go back. And that's the light, okay? I think so.
כן, כתוב למען תחיה.
Yeah.
ואז ירשת את הארץ.
Okay, then we go into Avodah Zarah. Idol worship. Do not plant a tree. And you see, it doesn't say don't worship a tree. Even don't plant a tree. It means don't plant a tree and say when it gets big, I'm going to worship an idol. Even just the intention right at the beginning is a problem. This specific lav, this specific prohibition is talking about planting it next to the Beis HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, on Har HaBayis, on Temple Mount. And you think, oh, that's crazy. It's not crazy. Yechavam, Yeravam, Achav, they put idols in the Beis HaMikdash. So Hashem, when Hashem's talking to Moshe, and Moshe's talking to the nation, he's telling them, don't do this. Don't build an altar. There were different times in history. Sometimes they were allowed to bring offerings in their own house, sometimes not. But you're not allowed to put up a stone in your, anywhere, and besides the Beis HaMikdash to serve, to bring up offerings. Now, even though Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, those days they did it. Kaina, everybody did it until they left Egypt, until they left Mitzrayim. But now, Asher Saneh Lekacha, as soon as we have the Mishkan, and as soon as you have the Beis HaMikdash, we have a place to bring up. Now you're only allowed to bring up over there. You can't just bring up whatever you want, an offering. Asher Saneh Hashem Lekacha says Hashem hates it. Even you're not doing it for idol worship. You're doing it for Hashem. But still, Hashem doesn't like it. You're not allowed to do this anymore.
רבי, זאת הייתה לך השירה. זה הזכיר לי פתאום פרופסור אחד שהכרתי, ואני לא רוצה לרמוז אפילו איפה, בגלל לשון הרע. הלכנו להרצאות שלו בבתי כנסת פה בעיר. נראה לי שמה שהוא חיפש זה יותר משותף בין יהדות לנצרות, ואני תמיד התפלאתי מה הוא מחפש משותף. אין שום דבר משותף בעצם. והוא היה מספר שאחד מהוריו היה נוצרי ואחד יהודי. המשפחה מעורבת. אני לא זוכר אם האמא נוצריה או האבא הוא הנוצרי. אז בחנוכה הייתה חנוכיה בבית, אבל גם היה עץ כריסמס. אז השירה אצל מזבח, זה מזכיר לי את הסיפור הזה שלו.
וזה מזכיר לי מה שלמדנו אתמול, שלשום ממשלי. When you talked about the אישה זרה, it's also absolutely.
Yeah. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah says, what do these things have to do with each other? Judges and then idol worship. It says because if you appoint a judge who's not good, it is like serving idol worship because it's such a threat to our nation to have a bad judge. It's like serving idol worship. That's why you know, even though it's two paragraphs, but it's like both in the same parak and like they come right next to each other. What are they going to do with each other? That's what it's going to do with each other. Okay, Parak Yud Zayin. You're not allowed to bring an offering to Hashem that has a blemish. Has a blemish.
Mum.
A mum. Yeah.
Defect.
Right? Famous story how the second Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. The Kamsa Bar Kamsa, and how did he was angry that the rabbis didn't speak up, so he made a slit in that. He knew the smallest possible mum would be a slit. And Rabbi Lezer was there and he said, don't offer it up because it has a mum. And even though the non-Jews were bringing it and it was Bezia, whatever, destroyed the Yerushalayim, whatever. The point is, a mum is a very serious thing. It's funny because nowadays, you have to say this carefully, but you have to, well, look at this carefully. Nowadays, it's this whole thing of like, you know, disabilities, you know, because everybody's equal and that's true. You know, we have to care very, very much for people that have disabilities. We have parking for people with disabilities, right? But the fact was, in the Beis HaMikdash, if you are a Kohen and your leg was broken, or you couldn't walk, or, you know, whatever, you're missing a finger, you couldn't work in the Beis HaMikdash. Not because you couldn't do the job, just because to serve Hashem, you had to be physically perfect in the Beis HaMikdash. And similarly, to be a korban, for an animal to be a sacrifice, it had to be perfect. It couldn't have a mum. And nowadays, I can imagine people go, oh, we have to be inclusive. So let's bring up any animal to Hashem. Any Kohen should be allowed to worship. So you have to understand in the Torah, you know, it doesn't mean that we, you know, make fun of people that have, God forbid, a disability. It doesn't mean that they're worse. It just means to serve Hashem, like I'm not a Kohen, so I don't get get called up first. And it's not I'm worse. You know, I was once sitting in a panel with different rabbis, and somebody told me, oh, you know, in Reform, there's no Kohen Levi Israel anymore. Because why should they be better than us? We're all the same. It's so stupid. It's just so stupid. And then they also don't believe, they told me, we don't believe that Jews are the Am HaNivchar, the chosen nation.
They don't believe
it. Even though they still say the blessing, Asher Bachabanu Mikol Ha'amim. They say the same blessing, I believe, as we do when they get called up to the Torah, but they obviously don't know what it means because they don't believe in what it means. They told me this. We don't believe Asher Bachabanu Mikol. We do not believe we're the chosen nation. Why? Because to say Asher Bachabanu is like supremacy. That's what they say. They say to say I'm chosen nation means I'm better than you, and everybody's equal, which is basically communism, by the way. We're not equal. You know, you're tall, I'm short, you're rich, I'm poor. You know, like so. But simple minds don't understand the idea that it doesn't mean I'm better or worse. In fact, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
When somebody is a Kohen, he has more of a responsibility. When somebody's a Levi, you know, when somebody's Israel, when somebody's Jewish, it doesn't mean I'm better than the non-Jew, but it means I have a bigger responsibility. It's like the example that I give is like a police officer. He's called a public servant. Eved shel ha'kahal. What's the idea? A police officer looks really strong. He can pull me over. He can come in my house. He can ask me questions, right? He can arrest me. Is he better than me? No. In fact, I pay him. I pay tax, and he's my servant, like kind of, right? The idea being, he just has to be 100% perfect. If a police officer makes a mistake, he's fired. He's in the news. He's in jail. You know, imagine a police officer that's speeding and making a crime, or he's driving on the pavement, on the sidewalk. He's going to get much bigger punishment than me, because not because he's better than me, but because he is nivchar, he is chosen. He has a different role. And the same for us as Jews. We are the Am HaNivchar, we're the chosen people. It doesn't mean we're better than other people. It means we've got more responsibility than other people. And the same goes for a Kohen, and the same goes for in the Beis HaMikdash. It doesn't mean when you're using a specific animal which has no blemish, or a specific person that has no blemish, that they're better than everybody else. No, they just have more responsibility. And when it comes to the worship of Hashem, it has to be perfect. So, but people very often get confused, and nowadays more and more there's like a communist mindset, which is like we're all equal. Therefore, nobody is allowed more money than anyone else, and everybody has to act the same. No Kohen, no Jews, no nothing. We're all this. It's nonsense. It's such a silly way of thinking.
We're like robot, all of us like
Robot,
the same
yeah.
thing. Where's the free choice that we have?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't God make us that some of us are going to be good and some of us are going to be bad,
Yeah.
okay? Because we
Yeah.
don't do the same choices,
Yeah.
all of us.
Very much.
Otherwise, I mean, what life is this?
Right. No, and even not
It doesn't make any
choices.
sense.
Even things that I didn't choose to be born in England. You didn't choose to be born in Israel. You know what I mean? Even not choices. We're not equal. Hashem made us not equal.
Okay.
The Gemara says, "Kishem she'im parzufim shav." It's the same as no two people look the same. Kach ein datem shavot. No two people think
Yeah.
the same. Can you imagine? It's an unbelievable thing. Hashem made 8 billion people, and every single one is different. Can you imagine if I made 10 things, 2 of them would look the same? Hashem made 8 billion people, and they all think different. They all look different.
Yeah.
And the idea being is we're supposed to be different.
Yeah.
But they try to be like, no, we're all the same.
What I'm saying is this,
Yeah.
this inclusion says we are all human beings. That's not correct. Even if we are all human beings, of course,
Yeah.
but we are not the same.
Yeah.
Okay, I know today men and women, it's the same already. You know that, right? There's no difference.
No difference. We're
No
the same.
difference, yeah.
We're the same.
So that's something else.
In weights and everything, yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Now, these people that don't understand אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, they don't understand the way that this sentence continue, ונתן לנו את תורתו. This is
Very good.
the thing that make us chosen.
He gave us all these commandments.
Exactly, more responsibility and more rules to study and to do our best to do them also.
Yeah.
That's all. It's not that it chooses us to be the bigger and the richer nation in the world.
Yeah.
Our history is exactly the opposite, but our insight, it's אשר בחר בנו.
Yeah, but the Christians said that once we are vinu, it did sin, so
we lost it.
it went to Brit Chadasha. It went to other people that they have no God. Okay?
Yes, but
So they found the solution.
But especially in our area, usually the Christians here, they called us the chosen people, and I heard from them that God said to Abraham that מברכך אברך, and so on. The Christians in this area, they are more Zionists than many Jews.
For sure. Just to tie it into what we said before, when you have these rabbis signing letters against Israel, it's the same. I think it's the same mindset. It's a communist mindset. What's a communist mindset? They look at how many people in Israel died, how many people in Gaza died, 50,000, 3,000, 50,000 is more. It's so stupid. Like, you don't, if you look at it like with the 2D vision, it's called, without looking deep, where Hamas are hiding in hospitals, terrorist schools, blah, 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 how the IDF army works, knock on the roof, they don't, but they look at it like that. And then the communist inside of them says, oh, this can't be good. It's a terrible... And unfortunately, to be honest, Jews are the first people to fall into this. In New York now, they're saying that the majority of Jews, like 60, 70%, are going to vote for Mamdani. This guy who's Israel's genocide, he doesn't believe in Israel. They asked him, does Israel have a right to exist? He goes like, hey, the sky is blue. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Jews. Yes. What's happening?
Yeah.
75 years ago, we had the Holocaust. We almost lost our whole nation. Now we have a land where we can live safely. And they're supporting somebody who wants to get rid of the state. You cannot make it up. Jews are our own worst enemy. Over and over and over again. Now, there is a theory. I'm going to tell you this, but don't pass it around. Many people believe that every so often Hashem shakes the tree and the weak ones fall off. Right? Which means that before the time, especially before the time of Mashiach, Hashem wants to figure out who's strong, who supports Hashem, who believes in the Torah, who believes in Israel, who believes in our future, our homeland and everything. So he takes these people and he shakes them. And they have assimilation rates of 80%. They support people who hate them. They support people who hate Israel, and they become worse than all of our enemies. Really, this is true. The Jews sometimes, what they do, become worse than all of our enemies, and over 3 or 4 generations, they're gone. They assimilate to the nations. They don't exist. They change the name from Klein to something really non-Jewish, and they're gone. And then when Mashiach comes, the strong ones will be there, and that's painful to say. But I don't know if it's true or not. I have no idea. But sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it feels like that's what Hashem is doing.
They don't have any chance to go back, Rabbi?
No, so I think they can. In many of these families, one of the grandchildren will become close to Torah, will become observant, will become religious. I see it. But they completely reject, obviously, what their family believe in. But in the majority of cases, they peter out. I saw an amazing chart. It's called "How many Jewish grandchildren will you have?" And it basically says if you belong to Reform, then you're going to have like 1 or 2 Jewish grandchildren and probably 0 Jewish great grandchildren. If you belong to Conservative, right? It says if you belong to Orthodox, you're going to have 100 Jewish great grandchildren. 100 compared to like 1 or 2 or 0. Basically, because they're working out what percentage get married to non-Jews, what percentage leave totally, what percentage, just don't want to have anything to do with it. And this is true numbers. I'll show you afterwards the chart. It's amazing. The point is that it very much feels like, again, whatever way you look at it, Hashem's shaking the tree, or they are just getting rid of themselves. But it's a very serious issue they have.
I'm sorry. I think that I need to explain myself. When Mashiach comes, Bezrat El, so those people that they left,
so
what's going to happen?
Right. So we don't know what's going to happen. First of all, many of them are not Jewish, because what happens is they all intermarry, and within 3 or 4 generations, there's no Jews left, right? Unless it's the daughter of a daughter of a daughter of a daughter of a daughter. Yeah. There's just no Jews left, right? Plus, they don't have a lot of children. They have like 1 child max, 1.2. Again, secular Jews have less children than non-Jews. So again, they have that. And together with the fact that, yes, they leave. They voluntarily give it up. So yeah, when Mashiach comes, the majority of them that are disconnected, I don't think it's hard to, they're not Jewish. Or even if they are Jewish, they gave it all up and, they joined something else. So I don't know. It's hard to say what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. I really don't know.
What about the 10 tribes that they got lost?
10 lost tribes.
Who knows what
so some say, I don't know anything about 10 tribes, to be honest. I looked into a little bit, but some say that already in 1948, when you had the Moroccans and the Yemenites, that was kind of kibbutz galuyot. That was the 10 tribes coming from all over. I don't know if that's true or not. It's hard to say. The Ethiopians definitely should have been. Indians, the tribe, Menashe. Right, the tribe Menashe. There's definitely groups that have come. Were they all of them? Is there still more that's going to come? I don't know. But I don't think it's these people going the other way. It's very hard. On the contrary, they were part of the core Jewish for thousands of years. 2,000 years they had strong Jewish roots until now, until today, and then they let everything go because we're comfortable now. Now there's no anti-Semitism. Now they let us marry them, so let's get married to them.
That's what Herzl said. With the freedom, we are losing our Judaism, Jewish entity.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah. Somebody said, I think there was a rabbi once got up and he started speaking, and every 10 seconds he clapped. He said, every time I clap, a Jew gets married to a non-Jew and goes away. In America.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a true story, that. And then somebody got up from the back and said, Rabbi, stop clapping. As a joke. But the point is that this is very real. We lose more people voluntarily from Judaism than we do to anti-Semitism and persecution and everything since the Holocaust. And we lose every year. We lose more people than we've lost, to terror attacks and everything. It's a tragedy.
That's what kept us alive 2,000 years. Yeah. And I'm really scared, what's going on. Yeah. I think that the adults need to start thinking about Jewish education, okay? For themselves and for the kids. But it has to start with the adults.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you see people like, we meet sometimes Jewish people that they don't have this connection. They don't even understand the importance of Israel. Why do the Jews need? You remember we
heard that from someone that called herself a rabbi.
And she said to me, why do the Jewish people need a country? I said, excuse me, do we have Wisconsin? Do we have Georgia? What question is that?
Right, even without the Torah, who says it's our, you know, the amazing thing in 1850, the reform movement in Germany came out and said that we are officially removing any text about returning to our land. Right? If you go to Shemona Esra, it's Kabbalah Shofar, Kabbalah Nidach, you know, gather us back, V'Yushalayim Erecha Barachim Tashuv, over and over again. We're going to go back. We're going to go back every day, all morning to night. We're praying that we're going to go back. It's what we did for 2,000 years. They said we're going to take it out. Why? We don't need it. We're living in Germany. We're living in Berlin. They said Berlin, Ze Yerushalayim. Who needs? Who needs? Look at us. We've been living here for 300 years. Every year they let us into their colleges, universities. They let us marry. This is what the movement said. You can check it out. In 1850, around 1850, they said they removed every mention and they removed the belief from their group that we're going to go back to Yerushalayim, that we're going to go back to Israel, to Eretz Israel, and that it's our homeland. They said, first of all, it's never going to happen. That's what they said. And second of all, we don't need it. Look at us. We've been accepted by the Germans. We're so comfortable. We all know what happened in 1948. I mean, 1942, 1937, 38, you know, Kristallnacht and everything until 1948. And then by miracle, we got the land of Israel back. They look stupid now because, yeah, I guess we do need the land of Israel because 6 million people died because we weren't in Israel. Like, exactly. It's unbelievable. And then to hear someone 70 years later say, why do we need the land of Israel? Yeah. Are you stupid? Do you believe in the Holocaust? Maybe they deny the Holocaust. I don't know. It's a crazy thing. It's unbelievable. We're so stupid sometimes. It's really frightening. It's really frightening. Anyway. So yeah, how did we yeah, we went a little bit excited. We got a little bit excited. But the point is yeah. We were talking about the importance of justice and staying on the right path and not looking at something. Sometimes we see an animal that has a mum and we say, oh, equal, you know, superficial, just look at it, it's all okay, everybody's equal, everybody's the same. You have to think beneath the surface. Just think beneath the surface. You know, in my world where I grew up, the trauma of the Holocaust is still very, very real. It means a lot of like Haredi children are scared of dogs. And they say because of the Holocaust, because the Nazis had dogs. The point is that in the secular world, because they, you know, in America, most places, because they joined the wider secular, they lost the Holocaust. They lost the feeling of like we're rebuilding from the Holocaust. They lost the message of the Holocaust. They lost the reminder of anti-Semitism, you know, why we need to have Mashiach, why we need our land back and everything. And that's what I see over here. Like everybody's so comfortable. One guy, somebody once told me, like, I don't want Mashiach. I love Charleston. Somebody told me this. I love Charleston. Oh and it's terrible. You know, first of all, I told him, don't worry, your synagogue can come with you. He says, when Mashiach comes, all the synagogues are going to move. But it's so crazy to think, you know, in 10 years' time, America, who knows what's going to be? Who knows? If you got a few more Mamdanis, you know, who knows what's going to be? The point is, like, we forget. But in my circles where I grew up, I'm telling you, they're very, very insulated. And they live in that world like every non-Jew is going to kill us. Like it's a bit over the top, right? But it safeguards this. You know, when I grew up, my mashgiach in yeshiva used to always like give us a lecture. Every Jew needs to have a passport. You need to have a passport. Now, where's this coming from? So the Holocaust. If you didn't have a passport, you couldn't get out. You got killed. So it's a trauma, but it's very real because when you live with that, it keeps reminding you we're not at home. That's what I grew up with. We're not at home. You know, there's a difference between America and England. In America, there's many big organizations, including Orthodox organizations, that are very, very involved in the government. They lobby and they, you know, OU, Aguda, there's many big organizations that lobby with the government for Jewish. In England, it's not like that. In England, they basically say, who are we? The government, they own this land. This is kind of what they say. Of course, they do a little bit of lobbying, but they basically say, we're guests over here. We're just visiting. We're going to go to Israel very soon. Mashiach's going to come. So they don't, it's in a more religious circle, there's almost like no lobbying. Now, for certain money things, they will, you know, you have to. But the point is, like, I remember talking to Rabbi Howard, the head of the OU, when he came, and I asked him this question. I said, you know, I see you lobbying anti-Semitism. I said, you know, in some way, anti-Semitism is a good thing. If we had a lot of anti-Semitism in the school, it would be huge. Everybody was sent to a Jewish school. Everybody would remember they're Jewish. Everybody would remember why we need Israel. Everybody would remember not to assimilate, that we're a Jewish nation, etc., etc. And he found the question interesting, and he agreed. But he basically said that the reason, this is what he said, and he's right. The reason why he said the OU, do a lot of advocacy, they spend millions of dollars a year going to Washington and advocacy, is because of Israel. And he said, look, they're sending weapons to Israel. Even when in the Republicans, some of them don't support Israel, they still support Israel because he said because it's a lot of it's because of their advocacy. And he's right. But the point is, he's right. But there's also another side to it where unfortunately, when there's a lot of anti-Semitism, we do very well because we look after ourselves. We remember where we are. We don't say, who needs Israel? We don't say, I don't want Mashiach because I want to stay in Charleston. And we remember that we are in danger unless we actually go back to our land. So it's a very strange reality.
It's kind of, if you disconnect yourself from Israel, it's not a complete Jew, you know? It's because the connection to Israel is part of you.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I can't express myself the way I feel, but that's what it is. It's like I see this triangle, you have God, the Jewish people, God with the Torah, Jewish people, and Eretz Israel. It's connected.
Yeah.
You can't say, I don't want the Mashiach to come. My goodness, I'm okay in Charleston.
Yeah. People don't talk about this a lot, but
It's terrifying, right?
Many of the biggest rabbis from 300, 400, 500, 600 years ago, from the Orach Chaim to the Vilna Gaon, these great sages, they started going to Israel on foot and risked their life and tried to travel for days and days. The Gaon didn't get there. His students got there. He told them to go if they possibly can. They would give up everything. And nowadays we have a flight and we still don't go. Instead, like the mindset has changed. I'm saying it's not. I'm not even talking like you don't even have to be a Zionist. You just have to be a Jew.
Right.
A Jew. It's our land. It's our homeland. It's holy. It's the extra presence of Hashem. When Mashiach comes, we're going to be there. Like it's a mitzvah to live in Israel. Yishuv Eretz Yisrael is a mitzvah in the Torah. It's a crazy thing. So yeah. But we see, we got comfortable. So now I'm talking about myself, So now we're happy here. Oh, I have a job here, So it's a very strange thing, but yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it here.
Yeah, but it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Rabbi Mendelssohn